Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
It is feature time in Tulsa. Let's go green.
He's got the run, but isn't enough. It's a drag race to the finish. Culver goes from third to first in the last quarter.
Experience the world's most legendary racing events with iRacing. iRacing special events allow any member to compete in full-length multiplayer races based on some of the biggest events in motorsports all year round. Compete in virtual endurance races, such as the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, and the Nürburgring 24 Hours. Take on some of the toughest races on the NASCAR calendar, such as the Daytona 500 and the Coke 600. We have races from disciplines across the racing world, from the Indy 500 to the Chili Bowl, from the Bathurst 1000 to the Crandon Championship. Our endurance special events utilize iRacing's team feature, where members can sign up and race together on their own team, swapping drivers throughout the race. Other events use iRacing Super Sessions, where you're not only racing against those on track, but against everyone taking part. As every race progresses, watch and feel the track change, with progressive time of day, dynamic weather and rain, and dynamic track debris and surface changes. Take on your favorite discipline, or try a brand new racing challenge with our biggest races of the year, the iRacing Special Events. Learn more at iracing.com/special-events.
Oh. Hello, everybody, and welcome to All-Star 15 TV. On the broadcast tonight, it is the High Point GT Challenge, race number 7 from Watkins Glen. Qualifying has just completed. We're going to throw this race for an hour. It's going to be a fun one. The sun's going down. And when the sun goes down, Mike Campigio goes to sleep. And Mike, what's up, pal?
Oh, jeez, you're burying me already. I was gonna say Mr. 8 Hours yourself on Monday. Tell you that much.
Hey,
but AJ, what's going on?
I have a child. That's my excuse.
That's your excuse. But AJ, looking forward to it. Yeah, maybe getting a possible night race at Watkins Glen. Like, that's gonna be amazing if that happens tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna be a first. Normally, don't see a IMSA event here when the sun goes down. And our IMSA expert himself, Joe Hutchings.
I'm not the expert. Brandon is.
Okay, fine. Zip, zip, zap, zip, zip. Our IMSA expert himself, Brandon Storr.
I mean, you were talking about having a child making you tired. I've got a Joe. I'm pretty tired too.
You got a joke.
Inside jokes are going.
No, great to be here. really excited to see what transpires as this track goes from day to night tonight, and the fact that this track gets pretty dark as you go around it as well.
Yeah, there are basically no lights around this place. You're going to see those headlights, and that's really going to be it. Once you come around the final turn, you're going to have the pit road lights, and that will disappear once you get past turn 1. Joe, what's going on, pal?
I'm tired.
Yeah,
I did a lot of hiking today.
yeah, we heard you did a lot of work. Good job on that. Proud of you.
I know it's very rare that I work,
Keeping your community safe.
Sure, one sign at a time.
Let's go through the qualifying. Avery Hart is going to start on pole this evening. Then Travis Roberto, Daniel Pino, Lakin Shaw, your top 4. And you see Spencer Duquette rounding out the top 5 with the GT3 pros. The Pro-Am drivers, Kenneth Cloden going to start on pole for them. Then it's Jacob Cotterman, Jed Cotterman in 3rd. Brian Scott and Chet Miller rounding out the top 5 there. Your GT4 drivers, starting with Lance Campbell, Daniel Nass, Cole Malley, Michael Smith, and Jim Peely. It's your top 5 with the GT4s. While they are just about to get rolling, let's bring up those championship points, starting with those GT4s this evening. Lance Campbell with a nice 48-point lead over Daniel Nass. Aiden Keeley sitting in 3rd. Cole Malley 4th. And then Ryan Serlich in that 5th position. The GT3 Pro-Am drivers, as they sit, it's Jed Cotterman with a very slim lead over Kenneth Cloden in 2nd. 3rd, it's Brian Scott. Mark Ozer in 4th. And Jacob Cotterman in that 5th position. And as we've already started rolling, let's see those GT3 Pro drivers and how they sit in the championship standings. Avery Hart with a very commanding lead over Daniel Pino. 3rd, it's Spencer Duquette, Lakin Shaw in 4th, and Steven Smith in that 5th position. As they are heading down the backstretch towards the bus stop, Joe, I know how much you love this racetrack. What should we expect here this evening?
Well, with these guys, it's good, clean fun. Usually it's chaos on this channel, but no, these guys are gonna tear this place up and show us a really, really good race.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. We are sitting at 5:48 race time as of it looks like last week, the 28th we're using of October. It's a very cool racetrack, 69 degrees, very nice temperature out there for everybody. Gonna have to throw a little jacket on at 68 degrees. And it should be a good one.
What are you, from the south?
We're gonna throw...
That's short weather for those people.
Yeah. Yeah, my buddy's actually down in Florida right now. He said it's gonna get cool by the end of the week. Can't wait to see everybody in winter coats while you could tell who's from the north. All shorts and t-shirts while the Floridians are all bundled up.
Yeah,
Right, Joe?
That's me.
Oh, so that's Chicago weather.
It was 39 degrees this morning. Walked into work, no coat on.
A little cold for you though, Joe, huh?
39?
You gotta remember, AJ, he survived Chicago winters for a long time.
See?
Brandon?
Well, so speaking of weather, I just want to make sure we're all aware that at the end of this hour race, it's going to be 6-7 out.
Oh, no.
Oh,
come on.
I literally could picture the
please
smile
act
on your
your
face
age?
when you said that.
act your age.
Well,
Wait, actually, don't act your age.
we are gridding up, going through the final 2 turns. Your GT3 Pro and Pro-Am drivers are integrated together on the field. Your first 4 drivers are the Pro, and you have Kenneth Cloden in 5th Pro-Am, and then back to Spencer Duquette in sixth as we are green. There they go. They fan out immediately down the front straightaway into turn number 1 to the inside. You are looking for Daniel Pino.
Oh, come on!
Travis
No.
Roberto gets spun.
Kept the wing on it
He's
though.
still got a wing on that car as we got the GT4s coming up.
They made me a liar.
It's turn 1. There goes the GT4s past the start finish line. Barney the flagman throwing out his arm, and P1.
Oh, the leader!
Lance Campbell keeps it.
Oh, there's
out
another
of
one
the-
around. I think it's Michael Smith that's around too.
Both drivers
Yeah,
keep
that's
it out of the wall, no damage, and they continue. Brandon, what do you got?
No, just in going through. So we got Daniel Nonsense out front leading, but he's gonna have to worry. There's another car that's a GT3 that is spun on track.
Oh, you said
That's
GT3.
Justin Brock.
Justin
I think it's
Brock.
Justin Brock. Yeah. Ooh, that's heavy damage.
Let's jump back to turn number 1 as Bach is in the boot.
Want to let you know, Travis Roberto, he has decided to put himself head on into the wall between the entrance and exit of the boot following this incident.
That's not good.
Oh.
Oh!
Oh! Big hit.
Well, that's not the end of it. We follow along
Uh.
with this car again. We're going to see he decided he is done in about 5 seconds here.
Yeah, that's frustration. That's just boiled frustration right there.
We don't get a camera shot of that.
Well, we got Christopher Grondin, who's gone around as well.
Oh, he took the NASCAR track.
That's the end of a frustrating lap 1. It's like, all right, I'm done.
And you said Christopher Grodin. GT4 619 Ford Mustang. The black and blue on your screen. Ooh,
That's the thing is these drivers, they had a full pace lap to be able to warm up their equipment. However, in the GT4s, I expect these tires to be colder. It's harder to warm up tires on a GT4 car for the amount of body roll that goes into those cars.
Taking a look at P1 and 2 in the GT4s. Cole Malley in the 06 Mercedes trying to close in on Daniel Noss in the BMW, separated by 0.2 of a second into the bus stop.
Well, you can
Well, this will be
see
a battle.
Cole Melly. I was sorry, Brandon. Cole Melly was diving it in there.
No, absolutely. And this is a battle I'll be focusing on for sure for the night. I'm going to be focusing on GT4s as we go through this race today.
Well, let's jump up front. Daniel Pino, where he's been most of the season. P1, 0.6 of a second over Avery, Hart, Lakin, Shaw. Your top 3 are all pro drivers. Then it's Jacob Cotterman and Kenneth Cloden for your Pro-Am start. Sitting in overall 4 and 5. There is a hell of a train behind Jacob Cotterman and Kenneth Roden. Steve Smith in the 116 BMW, Spencer Duquette in the 207 McLaren.
I just noticed we have a Playboy Porsche in here. That's awesome.
Nice.
Roll tiebacks.
Ah, you found it.
I did.
Gotta give a huge shout out to Mr. CEO, Mr. President of the league, Carlos Ruiz, in the 14 Porsche for the Pro Series. 2 spots in class, running in 6th.
That's a good looking paint scheme. He made a really good move to get that spot just a few corners ago.
Brandon, as the sun goes down, as I know you're holding on and looking at the GT4s, as the sun goes down, what kind of issues could these drivers face?
The biggest thing that they're going to face, and this is something that we see across all the tracks, is that you go from day to night, you have to determine if you want to have a lighter fuel load, knowing that your tires are going to be cooling off, you're going to lose grip, do you want more weight in the car? So they're going to have to decide if they're going to pit early, if they're going to pit later, do they want new tires, things along that line. I think, to me, my biggest concern at this track as we go from day to night is that transition is going to occur as the GT3s and the GT4s start to intermingle a little bit more. And I'm looking at the manufacturers that we've got running on track, and I can tell you, if you're a GT3 driver and you're coming up on a Ford or a Mercedes, which ultimately half the field is going to be Ford or Mercedes for the GT4s, they are so similar looking, and actually I'll throw the Aston Martin in there as well, so similar looking to the GT3s that I have to make sure that I'm timing correctly my pass and looking at my relative and understanding what car I'm coming up on so I don't lose time or so I don't hit that other car.
That's a really good pull, Brandon. You're going to have to really look at your relative. As we saw on screen, Lance Campbell trying to gain some spots back after the lap 1, turn 1 spin. Got past Brian Lavriza, puts him 6th in class. Still -5 as he is closing in on Cameron Kilma, which is just about 0.3 of a second in front of him.
Well, and going along with that battle, just in front of them, Jim Peel and James Langevin are having a fantastic battle with each other as well in the GT4 class.
Man, with these GT4 series, Brandon, they do not like the curbing around this racetrack.
No, there's enough body roll going on with these cars already without having to introduce curbing to it. Ultimately, if you hit that curbing in a GT4 car, your car's going to react. We have contact. Jim Peel going around.
Langevin and Peel get together going into the boot, and the 49 Mustang goes for a spin and loses 4 positions.
Ooh, that's some argy-bargy there.
Here it is again.
That's James Langevin overcooking the corner on exit. He feels like he has a spot there. Interpreted how much track was going to be to the right side of Jim Peel there, in an unfortunate situation on exit. Of course, right in front of cars that have to take some evasive maneuvers.
Coming back up to the GT3 cars, Steve Smith with Jacob Cotterman in front of him by about a second on your screen. But then you see the train of GT3s behind him. Cloden, Duquette, Jed Cotterman, and Ty Baxter all within 2 seconds behind him. And with how this racetrack has started out, and these drivers on the racetrack, sorry about that, everybody. I can hear my baby upstairs, and I'm trying to determine if that's a I need daddy or not, or does mommy got it covered, which mommy usually has it covered. You could gain those 2 seconds really fast throughout a lap, or you could basically ruin your race, as we've seen so far. But just looking at Steve Smith getting into turn number 1, Cloden, Duquette, very much a lot more aggressive into these braking zones with what we're seeing in that Ford and McLaren. As they are all under a blanket back here. It honestly looks like a full DRS train, boys.
You took the words right out of my mouth there, AJ. 'Cause that's what I was looking at. And to me, it looked like it's just full on. Like, you lose one spot, you may lose 2, 3, or 4.
Exactly, Mike. This track has an optimum racing line that you want to follow, and the draft plays such a factor here because the turns, you're able to draft your turns. You're able to draft them straight away. maybe 2 turns, but a draft is not going to really play a factor. So you want to be tucked up to that car in front of you to be able to maintain speed.
Take a look at Brian Scott, P5 right now in the Pro-Am. Right in front of him, you see the 12 Porsche of Ty Baxter. And then about a second and a half, it's the Pro-Am of Jed Cotterman. As Mark Ozer with an issue on the racetrack. The yellow McLaren coming back up onto the racetrack out of the boot.
Oh, that's a big hit.
That's such a tricky part of the track. It's off camber. You've got Kirby on the outside that you want to use just to get that little bit of extra acceleration off the corner. But if you catch that wrong or you accelerate too quick, you're going to eat the wall like that.
Yeah, that's that part of the track is like you're tiptoeing a fine line coming out of that corner.
Back to under a blanket in the GT3s. Duquette, Cloden, Cotterman, and Baxter all under a second. This is currently the battle for that 6th position. As we are starting to get to the GT4 cars.
Yeah, as Daniel Pino's working his way through the GT4s, he had to check up on the entrance of the booth there for specifically Brian Lavrisa, and had to make sure he didn't get into the back of him. He's navigating through the traffic, making sure he's timing the right things. That's where that DRS line comes into play. You have to time when you're going to make these passes and lose the least amount of time possible.
Look at the train of cars. That is awesome to see. Sooner or later, we're just going to see all headlights.
And to me, AJ, it's about who is the best driver to execute the traffic.
Who's putting up their Christmas lights early? What the heck? I mean, what? Oh, there's a RG Bargy coming out of the last corner.
Is that Brandon Hersling? I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there it is. Sorry. Did he wreck?
No, I
he
think
just went
close
sideways.
contact.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
They go back.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
there you go.
There you go.
Ooh.
Yeah, it wasn't a little contact. That was a lot of contact.
That was a spin, but I got saved.
Holy neck
Oh,
code.
that is.
Yeah, it was net code too.
Wow.
Woo.
Welcome to 3 feet of netcode, iRacing. I'm giving the 2 thumbs up.
Dude, I didn't touch you.
Well, that's where these drivers will have to keep heads on their shoulders. Specifically, as we get into the nighttime, the depth perception is going to get harder to judge with the different headlights and the flashing that goes on. And you got to keep your head cool. If there's a little bit of contact or something happens, we got to recognize that this is not necessarily real life. There will be netcode that happens, and you can't get over angry about certain situations.
Absolutely, Brandon. And we've seen some tempers get a little hot with just even a small misjudge later on in the events. And still looking at this now P7 battle. Cloden, Scott, and Baxter all under a second and a half, as it looks like Duquette made the pass and is pulling away from Jed Cotterman, and now back into the GT4s. You know that's what you're watching, Brandon. Daniel Nass, Cole Malley still duking it out for the top spot in the GT4s into the bus stop, where it really looks like Daniel Nass is the better vehicle getting into these tight turns.
We are 5 seconds away from a GT3 coming through and interrupting this party, and it's going to come at an inopportune time for the GT3, and it's going to have to split these 2 cars and hope that does not slow them down too much. Well, and the rest of the field's going to be coming here soon, and that's where Daniel
there's a carousel.
Oh! leader, or league owner. Sorry.
El Presidente.
There you go. Oh, Kennedy Cloden.
Take us to your leader. Oh, we wrecked him.
What?
Oh,
What
oh my
happened
goodness.
there?
With the
What
Playboy
the-
car.
Oh, that
Ooh.
started all the way back.
Yep. And boys, after we see this, I have to go make a bottle real fast. So it'll be all you guys for
contact.
like a minute and a half.
Oh, that was just bad timing right there for Carlos.
Yeah, and ultimately what it
Wow.
comes down to is that bus stop is not a side-by-side passing zone. Some drivers are going to attempt it if there's a little bit of a slowdown, but it's just going to create chaos in the end.
There you
Cole
go.
Malley had an issue too. Cole
Yeah.
Malley had an issue.
All right, real fast. O'Malley loses it coming into the penultimate turn, or out of the penultimate turn. Gets it going.
I almost want to take that wall head on.
All right, I got you guys. Oh!
As
Lance
AJ goes
Campbell.
to, yeah, I was gonna say Lance Campbell's around in 1.
So I know you're trying to take care of the baby. We appreciate that you're jumping into this. We do see Lance Campbell. He
Oh.
just misinterprets. And Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. That's the challenge I spoke about. What car is coming up next? Is it GT3 or GT4? They look similar enough. They're close enough in body type that it's hard to tell. And you have to look at that relative.
Yes, Brandon, 100%. You got to look at that relative because, as we see right there, that's a perfect example too of what car is faster than the other. So that's something you really need to pay attention to as well.
Absolutely. As right now we're riding along with Steven Smith. It looks like that is going to be the closest battle we've got on track right now. And Steven Smith right now is trying to hold off Spencer Duquette, who currently is about 0.7 behind him in that DRS drafting train that we've got going on. As they're also coming up on our GT4 leaders.
Oh, the 206 just spun.
I know that
We're not
able
able to see it.
to jump over to that, but do you have a little explanation of what happened there?
Give me 1 second. I will get that for you.
No problem, as we are still riding along here with Steven Smith. This is getting past Daniel Nance, who is the leader of the GT4 class. So navigating that traffic perfectly, as the rest of the stream of cars are going to have to make their way around.
And you can really starting to see now the headlights are taking full effect here as we get later on in this race here.
Absolutely. And manufacturers are the difference in the way the headlights are. This is not going to be like a traditional IMSA class where sometimes the headlights are different based on what class you are in. Sometimes it's based off manufacturers and the difference the headlights look. So you truly do have to look at your relative to know who's coming up on me, who's flashing me, and what's the reason for the flash, because that's going to start happening as it gets darker.
I got a report on that 206.
What you got?
Kenneth Cloden, coming into the top of the boot, decided that he wanted to lose traction and ended up backing into the outside retaining wall.
Was that in the downhill portion, or is that coming out of the carousel?
Downhill portion, downhill lefter.
Got it.
And then he was trying to get the car straight back out, and traffic. It took him a whole lot of time.
Absolutely. Traffic is definitely, it's a tight track. You have walls on either side of you. As you see Steven Smith here, he's going to be coming up out of the boot.
Baby's getting through his fussy phase, and it looks like Kenneth Cloden had an issue.
Yep. We were just talking about it. If you'd like to show it.
We are. Oh,
Well, that's that
stop
downhill
goes.
portion right there.
That's not the bus stop.
Oh, I knew it.
Not the bus stop, the boot.
Downhill.
Apologies.
Yeah.
It's all good. We all know babies are needy. I'm needy on occasion.
You baby.
Yeah, he's not been a happy camper the last couple hours.
I mean, I haven't been a happy camper since 3 o'clock this afternoon. But, you know.
Oh, as we have tight racing, Chet Miller making it happen, getting back in front of that GT4. And I've said it weeks in the past. If you're going to jump in front of a different car class, you got to be prepared that that car class may not be expecting you to have that same braking zone. Chet Miller, real lucky on that one. But he also gave up nearly a position as he almost was overtaken into turn 1 by making the move.
Yeah, that's Christopher Coy right behind him. Very squirrely. Take a look at what we have for the GT4 drivers. Let's run them through real fast. Daniel Nass with a 5.5 second lead over Cole Malley in second. Third, you have James Langevin. Fourth, it's Cameron Kilma. And it's Brian Lavriza in fifth. Jim Peely in sixth. Christopher Groden sitting in that seventh position. Michael Smith in eighth. Ninth, it's Aiden Keeley and Lance Campbell sitting in that 10th position, who was your pole sitter coming into the race this evening.
If I may, AJ, with the battle out front of that GT4 where you had Daniel Nas and Cole Malley, that was a very close battle. That was maybe 0.3 seconds difference between the two as we see Daniel Nas getting past. The keys to this race, or what you needed to be aware of at the beginning, was the car classes passing you, essentially. That gap of 5 seconds occurred while the GT3 Pro and Pro-Am classes were making the passes on the leader, which means that DRS draft, or that optimum line you wanted to be running, Cole Malley somehow got shuffled out of that optimum line throughout all of that. And as he was shuffled out, getting passes, Daniel Nod was able to maintain, and that 5 second gap roughly came from that.
Well, you got to remember the second to last turn where Cole Malley kind of steps on it a little too hard and almost loses the Mercedes. I know he clips the wall. He's able to keep going, but there's a big gap between P1 and P2 now in the GT4s, as if we want to go up into the GT3s, Daniel Pino is showing the way, almost 5 seconds to Avery Hart. Then another 10 seconds to third place, Lakin Shaw. 4 seconds back from Lakin Shaw, you have Steven Smith. Then it gets interesting. Spencer Duquette in that 5th position. Jacob Cotterman just over a half a second back. First driver in the Pro-Ams is Jacob Cotterman. Then it's Jed Cotterman, father and son, nose to tail. That's going to be fun. I know there's a little bit of a rivalry between father and son there, as father is trying to chase down son as they hit the front stretch. Brian Scott in third for the Pro-Am drivers. Ty Baxter in fourth. Chet Miller fifth. Sixth, it's Christopher Coy. Brandon Hersing in seventh. Then you go back to El Presidente, Carlos Ruiz back with the pro drivers in 6th, and Justin Bach in 7th. The Pro-Am of 8th place, Mark Ozer and Kenneth Cloden. That is your field and how they run so far. Going back up just a little bit, Chet Miller, Christopher Coy into the DRS zone on the front stretch, heading back stretch, heading to the bus stop. Chet Miller with the preferred line into the bus stop, able to put on just about a half a second to Christopher Coy through the carousel, and now heading down towards the boot. The 617, Christopher Coy off the racetrack. Didn't lose too much, but definitely some grass on those tires.
Well, and thankfully, with the way that the model has adjusted over the past couple of years, I remember there was a point in time where if you touched that grass, even with just one side of your tires, it was like driving on ice, immediately going to the wall. So really thankful that iRacing has had the adjustments they've made over the years and have allowed grass to be a little bit more sustainable. Now at this time of night, I think we would probably have dew on the grass. It'd probably be a little more slippery than it was, but thankful for that.
And we're coming up to that point of the race now is where you want to do your strategy here for fuel.
Yeah, we're just under 25 minutes into the race. And Brian Scott going to be the first taker with the GT3 cars.
It's so weird saying Watkins Glen at dark.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. Not gonna lie.
It's a dark track, but it's definitely a fun and challenging track for that matter. I have been to Watkins Glen for 6 hours at the Glen. I camped out in the infield, and let me tell you, this track gets extremely dark when the sun goes down.
And it gets a little feisty in the infield.
I don't remember that part of it for reasons.
I'm pretty sure we can guess. There's father
I
and
remember a
son
bucket.
going through.
I guess Lincoln Shaw was talking about somebody be sitting in the middle of the track or something.
I'm not seeing anything.
I didn't see anything sitting anywhere, but he was complaining about somebody maybe going too slow or something. I don't know.
I think this is the one we saw earlier. Yeah, it's the same one we saw earlier.
Well, and it's possible. So as we have drivers beginning to
P1 on pit road.
overtake and
Go ahead, Brandon.
optimum lines occurring, you sometimes are trying to be the most predictable as possible. And when you get a little bit confused as to what is predictable, you drive down the middle of the track, and that is the worst thing you can do. You have to pick a side. More than likely, that's what he was complaining about. Because we got both Connermans, the father-son duo, as you were saying earlier, on pit road, with, I believe, the rest of the GT3 Pro-Am class.
Yeah, they're coming in the pit road now.
And the only two that are still out there is Mark Ozer and Brian. Well, Brian Scott just pit. Ozer will complete the Pro-Am drivers, and it looks like that 17 McLaren is also coming down pit road. So yeah, all we have left.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say all we have left with the GT3 drivers, with the pro drivers, is Hart, Shaw, Smith, Duquette, and Bach, as Pino did hit pit road last time by.
Well, so he has the strategy of getting down early, as we still have, Hart, Shaw, Smith, Duquette, Bach, all of them still have not come down pit road. My question to you guys is, did Daniel Pino make the right move? Do we want to come down early, given the fact we are going to nighttime?
I'm not going to bet against Daniel Pino whatsoever. We've seen how good this 88 Ford Mustang has been all season long. So I will defer to basically him. He hit pit road. It's probably when he needed to hit pit road, as Avery Hart now is jumping onto pit road to grab service, and I think Lakin Shaw is as well, along with Steve Smith, Spencer Duquette. I'm starting to think it was a good call from Daniel Pino, getting ahead of the chaos that would be on pit road right now.
Well,
Maximize your in and out lap.
We do have Jim Peel on pit road as well in the GT4 class. The remainder of the GT4 class have not come down pit road, as Brian Lavrisa has come down pit road as well. Unless there was an incident, they have not come down pit road in the GT4 class.
And we've seen that these GT4s, I think, have been able to go just a little bit longer than the GT3s, as there it is. Daniel Pino takes back the race lead, and it looks like it's right around 8 seconds. Could grow to about 8.5 seconds when it's all squared away.
Well, and the thing is, these GT3 drivers already had to go around the GT4 cars once before. And my question is, are they going to have to get back around them, or will they come down pit road in enough time where it's not going to be a concern? I think some of these Pro-Am drivers may have to interact with the GT4 drivers, whereas staying out a little bit longer in GT3 Pro, they may not have to interact with the GT4 cars for whenever they come down pit road.
That's a pretty good point. And the Cottermans have just got by Spencer Duquette, as Jed is still fighting with Spencer Duquette.
Yeah, this is a battle I've been paying attention here going on recently. It's been a very hectic battle as there's almost contact right there.
Yikes!
Oh, he's going off. Oh, he's off.
Error.
Jed was off the racetrack and very much on 2 wheels.
He was lucky he didn't hit the barrier.
Got to do this the old-fashioned way, everybody. I apologize. Didn't populate as a wreck.
That's a bad time to catch that. Bad time to catch the lap traffic too. Oh, he did get the barrier.
And I think we have an issue with P2 on the racetrack. The 13 Porsche of Avery Hart.
Oh, not the off-camber turn. Yep. It's a little bit too much acceleration. He missed the wall, which is a great job. It's difficult to miss the wall whenever you
honestly, I think you only lose about 2 or 3 seconds there. Look at how he's trying to fix the flat spot. It's Cole Malley now, P2 in the GT4s, and it's almost the exact same spot.
Is he lucky though?
Nope,
definitely not.
Bumper.
Definitely not.
And that's a bad spot to be sitting too, like that, especially with people trying to. That corner's almost
whenever
blind.
you decide to do that.
Yeah, that's a blind corner too.
I almost take it back up to.
Look at that thing crab walk. Look at that thing crab walk.
He's driving the thing like a Maybach bouncing.
Looks like a next-gen car. Wait, I know this is a NASCAR, but damn.
Oh, this is very unfortunate for Cole Malley. He was P2 in the GT4s with a meatball.
Well, we have GT4s hitting pit road, not just Cole Malley, but we've got James Langevin and Cameron Kilma coming down pit road. First takers. It's Daniel Naz and Michael Smith. Actually, Michael Smith has come down pit road, so Daniel Naz is the lone one who's out there. And Daniel Naz has been having to deal with some of that traffic. GT3 Pro-Ams have been coming through him. Some of them have been a little bit more aggressive, some have not. And Daniel Naz has been doing a great job at maintaining the racing line he wants, whereas you see here at the toe of the boot, he established himself going into that corner that he wanted that inside line. He was predictable because he wanted to ensure he had the best line through that corner to maintain pace.
Very curious to see when Nas is going to hit pit road as he's coming out of the boot. I'm also really curious to see how long Cole Malley is going to be on pit road for. Woo! 95 a little squirrely.
I think Cole Malley is going to be best friends with his crew chief for a little bit.
Are they going to go have some ice cream?
I mean, I'd be looking for that snow cone or something. As Daniel Naz actually is coming down pit road this time, we'll see if James Langevin's able to make up any ground on him.
Well, between Daniel Naz and James Langevin, there's a minute 20. Cole Malley is left pit road, and Kenneth Cloden, Pro-Am driver.
I don't know if there was any contact. Was there an incident that made him that slow?
Yeah, he was going slow before that.
I feel like he has to have damage already. Did something happen before that?
Yeah,
I know we don't want to play reverse games, but... There was some reason why he was slow coming into the boot down that downhill. Not sure what it was, but...
It almost, to me, looked like he was crab walking, too.
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, that's what did it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, at that point, you just throw off your steering and you don't know it. That's your first corner you're going to go into from here, and he's in a horrible spot right there.
Yeah, that's a very bad spot.
At that point, if I'm Kenneth Cloden, I'm looking at my relative to make sure, can I back up across the track? What can I do? Because we saw earlier an incident at the exit of the boot where a driver came across the track right in front of a couple of drivers.
That steering is way off.
Yep. That's a... Oh, insult to injury right there.
And Daniel Naz back out on the racetrack.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That could have been way worse.
That was some quality avoidance. But how do you spin there? That's
Hold
an odd one to
It,
spin
it
there.
started somewhere else. Here's turn
Is it
one.
yeah, turn one. Yep. There it
James
is.
Langevin.
That will do it.
Toe link. Yeah, toe link or broken rear or left rear.
The steering's off, but
Yeah,
it's
that-
not way off.
No, but your left rear has
Oh,
absolutely no
my.
grip, no traction. Great avoidance by whichever driver that one was.
That's such a bad angle to be sitting there, though. Oh my goodness. It's like, hi, how you doing?
Wow.
Wanna
Pretty sure
exchange your
there's
turn?
it's a little Wayne comment there of, "Hey, hi, how you doing?" That's exactly how that went.
Thank you for leaving the expletive out. I appreciate that.
Would you like to
You're welcome.
exchange insurance?
Chet Miller, Justin Bach, and Brian Scott all under a blanket here. Coming back up onto, I don't want to say the normal part of the track, but the NASCAR portion of the track.
Whoa.
Coming out of the boot. As Chet Miller's going to lose 2 spots here.
He went way wide right there.
It's like Cody Parkey, wide right.
Well, I know as we're looking at different battles, there is a good battle going on at GT4s. Jim Peel and Michael Smith are relatively close to each other now at this point. They're within a half a second of each other. And what I've been noticing is that Michael Smith's been trying to line up getting the right corner at the roughly entering the second half of the track.
And now they have company.
Well, that's only going to help Michael Smith being able to get a little bit of a toe of a draft.
From Mark
And
Ozer.
This is going to be, yeah, absolutely. It's going to cause Jim Peel to have to brake a little bit early to ensure he does not hit that GT3 car. And we're going to see Michael Smith be able to close this gap a little bit right here and hopefully be able to have another run at him, because coming out of the boot, there was really, really close racing coming on between these two.
Chet Miller, an issue into the bus stop. The Ally Corvette.
Oh, he looked like Kimi Räikkönen right there.
He definitely did an Alex Bowman.
That's more like a Kimi Räikkönen. As a Bowman fan.
Oh! Who was that? The 115. Aiden Keeley. Ozer gets by. Oh, he
I
just
think he's
guns
not on
it
a
too
turn.
soon.
Yep.
Well, and he's
I
had a
think he didn't
rough
want to
day.
turn either.
Aiden Keeley right now has had a rough day, sitting at 6 incident points. He's been in 10th. I know he had some issues at the beginning that's caused this, and it's unfortunate. Just trying to make the end of the day wrap up.
See a lot of meatballs, and now it's Christopher Grodin. Oh, what is so deceptive of that turn?
The deceptive part of that turn is that if you were to ride on board with any one of these drivers, going down into that braking zone is so challenging to see your braking markers, because a lot of times you're utilizing the fence as your braking marker going into the toe of the boot, and you have less visualization of that as opposed to actual braking markers.
Well, another problem is every one of these drivers is taking that corner in the entirely wrong spot. You don't apex at the curb there. You run about a car width up. There's a banking. It's like a progressive banking almost. I've noticed it with some of the mid to rear of the field drivers that they've just not been taking that corner right at all. I hate to be that person.
I always felt like that corner especially is so slippery. It's just, to me, it's the most slipperiest corner of this entire racetrack.
You would know slippery, wouldn't you?
Crickets.
Crickets. I don't think my response was gonna be PG enough. So.
Well, as we're on board with Brian Scott here, as he's currently battling for P3, and it looks like he's going to be close to Brandon Herzing as that battle is going on.
Yeah, Herzing +5 positions from the start of the race in class. So he's putting on a good points day so far with just under 20 minutes remaining. Let's see, who's the biggest mover class-wise? And actually, I think it's Brandon Herzing. He's +5, +7 overall. Another driver that's +7 overall and +4 in class is Cameron Kilma, sitting in the 4th position of the GT4s, doing a pretty good job, running very competitive lap times in that class. The only issue is Daniel Nass is 55 seconds ahead of him.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, you know, we had some drivers. We had Cole Malley, we had James Langevin, who were all within, you know, close proximity. And as those drivers have had some unfortunate circumstances, Jim Peel and Michael Smith, who are still having a great battle and trying to hold each other off, you know, that's part of the problem is they're battling each other. They're battling for P2, and Daniel Nass just has to maintain his track position. That's all he's got to do.
Yeah, he just needs to keep doing what he's doing. But the thing is, he's putting qualifying laps down. Lap times that are very much close to his personal best. And that's still a second, sometimes a second ahead, a lap to P2 Jim Peely. Just looking at last time by, a minute 55.84, a second faster than Jim Peely. 1 minute 56.80. Daniel Pino, let's jump back up to the GT3 Pro and Pro-Am drivers. Your top 5 overall are all pro. Pino, Hart, Shaw, Smith, and Duquette. Then you get the 2 Pro-Am drivers of Jacob and Jed Cotterman. 4.6 seconds separating the 2 of them. Then it's the lone pro driver of Justin Bach. And 3 more Pro-Ams with Brian Scott, Brendan Herzing, and Ty Baxter as Michael Smith getting really close to Jim Peely for P2 in the GT4s.
Well, that's where Jim Peely, he wants to ensure he lines himself up so he's not going to have to deal with Michael Smith. And Michael Smith is hoping, can Jim Peely get out of his line as that pass happens? As it looks like a little bit of gap has been closed in there.
Yeah, they're sitting right about a half a second separating the 2 of them.
Well, this is the portion of the track where Michael Smith has done a fantastic job at closing in the gap, hitting the right apexes, and doing what he needs to do on exit of the turn. As we see right there through the exit that, you know, Jim Peel ran it a little bit tighter and had to be a little bit more off throttle as he exited that turn, whereas Michael Smith, he ran it a little bit wide, tried to straighten out his exit, able to maintain that gap that he's got behind him as they're going to go now to the top of the boot, and they have to make sure that as there's another GT3 car coming behind them, where exactly do I want to be? As Jim Peel then does the exact opposite. He made that wider, which is what I personally would have done, trying to get a straight exit out of there.
Kenneth Cloden going
Fortunate
by.
spot for Michael Smith.
And Kenneth Cloden makes the pass.
Well, that's what Michael Smith didn't want. Michael Smith, unfortunately, had to take one of those turns specifically wider than he wanted to as that pass happened. And that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to navigate those gaps between the cars to ensure you don't lose time on the car in front of you.
And he closed in quite a bit down the front stretch and into turn number 1. Lost about a 10th on the exit of turn number 1. Let's see how the S's fare for both Peely and Smith.
Well, and that's where, as we see Smith get into the wall a little bit, because I don't think Smith was expecting that GT3 driver to take him too wide at that portion of the track. And personally, if I'm a GT3 driver there, I don't know that I'd take that too wide at that portion of the track either.
Brandon, you said it perfectly earlier about how deceptive the headlights are. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear.
I don't know, if I'm a GT4 driver and I have something like that happen, I think objects in mirror are annoying.
If you set your rear view mirror FOV correctly, you don't have that problem. 67.
Right.
Well, and we had Michael Smith going into the entrance of the boot. Now that gap between the two of them has gone to about 3 seconds because Michael Smith got a little bit loose entering the boot.
Wow. As ladies and gentlemen, we are just about 14 minutes remaining into tonight's race. Do not go anywhere after the checkered flag. We will talk to our 3 winners in each class. But right now, we are going to send it side by side to show you guys the beautiful sponsors of All-Star 15 TV. And scan that QR code for Monster Designs. You need some liveries here on iRacing. They do a great job, very friendly, and most of the vehicles in the series are painted by Monster Designs.
It is feature time in Tulsa. Let's go green.
He's got the run, but isn't enough. It's a drag race to the finish. Goldberg goes from third to first in the last quarter.
Experience the world's most legendary racing events with iRacing. iRacing special events allow any member to compete in full-length multiplayer races based on some of the biggest events in motorsports all year round. Compete in virtual endurance races such as the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, and the Nürburgring 24 Hours. Take on some of the toughest races on the NASCAR calendar, such as the Daytona 500 and the Coke 600. We have races from disciplines across the racing world, from the Indy 500 to the Chili Bowl, from the Bathurst 1000 to the Crandon Championship. Our endurance special events utilize iRacing's team feature, where members can sign up and race together on their own team, swapping drivers throughout the race. Other events use iRacing Super Sessions, where you're not only racing against those on track, but against everyone taking part. As every race progresses, watch and feel the track change, with progressive time of day, dynamic weather and rain, and dynamic track debris and surface changes. Take on your favorite discipline, or try a brand new racing challenge with our biggest races of the year, the iRacing Special Events. Learn more at iracing.com/special-events.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are back, everybody. Less than 10 minutes remain in the High Point GT Challenge race number 7 from Watkins Glen. The headlights are on, the sun is down. Daniel Pino, Jacob Cotterman, and Daniel Nas all lead their respective classes with just over 9 minutes remaining. I am AJ Capola, Brandon Storr, Joe Hutchings, and Mike Campiggio, all in this very, very cramped broadcasting booth. While we were away, Lance Campbell with an reinforced. Wow, I forgot about that.
I'm on the roof.
Is that why the ceiling is dipping?
Oh,
Yes.
Lance Campbell.
Oh, Lance Campbell. Yeah, you're
Oh,
right.
God.
Ooh.
Just stay
no.
there.
That was the incident during the commercial break, right?
That's the Porsche. Yes, it is.
That
Yeah.
is a do not pass go, do not collect 200, and wait for the cars to pass before you make that turnaround. And he did a great job of that.
Holy cow. You know, it's awesome in this league that you see the driver's intelligence, the racing IQ. Even if they make a mistake, they do their best to not put any other drivers in danger. Very much unlike a lot of other leagues.
Oh, absolutely. Well, as you've got Michael Smith there on the screen, you have Jed Cotterman going around the outside, and that's a very challenging portion of the track. Really proud of what Jed Cotterman did there, making that pass on the outside in a off-camber turn.
Jed Cotterman trying to gain some positions back. He was sitting P2 for quite a while in the Pro-Am series. Had an incident about 5 or 6 laps ago. But his son, Jacob Cotterman, 4 seconds, almost 4 seconds, ahead of Brian Scott for the lead of the Pro-Ams. And we have some pretty awesome parity on the racetrack right now. I know the ticker on the left-handed side, the scoreboard, not going to show it. But your top 6 positions overall are all pro drivers. And then your following 5 drivers overall are Pro-Am drivers. Kind of how you expect it to look late in the race when everybody's gone through a pit stop and now just cycling for positions. Looking at P2 in the Pro-Am, Brian Scott, Brendan Herzing. Herzing looking for another position. He's P8 overall and P6 in class, sitting at a podium position in the Pro-Am series. Doing a really good job, Brandon Herzing.
Well, Brendan Herzing is definitely going to be one of my drivers to watch. So he's been cycling around that 0.6, 0.8 a second gap behind Brian Scott. He's been a driver who's been on the move. And I'm curious, is he able to close this out specifically in Pro-Ams? As we've got the GT4s that are definitely more spread out now at this point and just kind of biding their time.
As we're looking just a little bit further, sorry to break that up, Jacob Cotterman doing a great job tonight. I know we've talked about him quite a bit, and he's really closing in on these pro drivers. Justin Bach, to be exact, putting another driver in between himself and Brian Scott could very much help Jacob Cotterman come away with the Pro-Am win here at Watkins Glen. Brandon, what do you have?
No, so as we were going through, Brendan Herzing was just about to lose the draft, but coming out of turn 1, he was able to catch back up, and right now is about 0.8 behind Brian Scott. This is the portion of the track where I feel like Brandon Herzing has been stronger in that Aston Martin than the McLaren has been, which is odd because the McLarens usually are on rails through these corners. So really, really impressive drive.
As we're on board with Brandon
right
Herzing.
now.
Yep.
Yep, I apologize. If you want me to, I can run through a whole lap here if you'd like me to.
Why don't we hit that when you cross the line?
We can do that.
Right now, I'm just watching how Herzing is using every bit of the racetrack to try to close in onto Brian Scott. And this is exactly what Jacob Cotterman wants to see, is these two drivers battle as they are inching closer and closer to that 48 McLaren of Cotterman. All right, Brandon, on the front stretch, take it away.
Absolutely is. He's about 0.3 behind. If I am currently Brandon Herzing, I'm wanting to ensure that I've got the draft going down into turn one. I don't want to overdrive the corner because my car is going to be a little bit faster than I expected, and Brian Scott's going to be a little bit looser or slower as he goes through that corner. So now we're going up through the S's right here. And as we go through the S's again, trying to maintain as much of a draft as possible. We talk about that DRS line and trying to maintain the draft, because as you exit the S's and you come up towards the bus stop, you have another opportunity here where you can potentially make a move as Brandon Herzing takes a look inside, but ultimately is going to decide to follow behind, which I think is the right move, ensuring you're hitting the curbings on every single side to be able to upset the car enough to be able to maintain speed, be a little bit loose as we're going through now the carousel. The exit of this carousel is a little misleading because you feel like you're going to go out and hit the wall, but really Brendan Herzing does a great job of getting out wider to be able to set up this left-hander that they're going through as we enter the boot. Going through then the top portion of the boot, you're getting down into the toe, and Brendan Herzing, again, following a line a little bit wider, trying to then arc it into the inside a little bit as we exit this corner. He's currently about 0.5 seconds behind Brian Scott. Again, trying to maintain a draft in this section of the track where you want to make sure you're able to not lose any speed. Getting into the heel of the boot, making this turn where you're going to come up out of the boot into an off-camber left-hand turn that is so challenging. Personally, I want to make sure I don't overdrive this corner, as Brendan Herzing does overdrive it just a little bit, losing some time on Brian Scott, and then finally getting into what I would call a fourth gear left-hander, which he does hold in fourth gear. You want to ensure you hit that right so you don't get too far wide, as we are now sitting where he's about 0.2 seconds behind, getting back to the front straightaway.
He's got
Amazing
2.5 minutes if he wants to make that pass.
Yeah, that was amazing, Brandon. Take a drink. I feel like you need it. And that was the ride along, brought to you by the Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast. New episodes every Thursday and Sunday night on their YouTube channel. Brandon, holy cow, there were so many opportunities I felt Herzing was going to try to take advantage. But as you said, being smart with just about 2 minutes remaining in the race tonight, getting close enough, hoping for Scott to make a mistake, and with that, Cotterman pulls away ever so slightly. He is now plus 0.38 and closing still.
Well, not to take you back to that last battle, but Ty Baxter has come into the picture. He's now only 0.4 seconds behind Brandon Herzing, who's now making a pass on Brian Scott.
Tried to click on it fast enough, didn't make it happen, but here it is.
Well, this is going to be a
to the
three-way
inside.
battle.
And Baxter's right there as well. And there it is, Baxter now making the pass.
Well, I wonder
Almost
if Ty
2
Baxter
for the
has
price
enough
of 1.
to be able to get to Brandon Herzing.
Do you think there's enough time? I don't think so.
We still got one more lap, and so what we've got to figure out is, does he have enough to be able to pull past in the draft, or is Brandon Herzing strong enough? Was he just having to hold back?
The white flag is out now, Brandon. And Brian Scott
comes on pit road.
The white flag is out now, so can Baxter get to Herzing, make the pass as they get by the GT4 of Brian Lavriza?
Oh,
So you can
even
see Ty Baxter ensuring he gets the drafts. He's going to pull out here to be able to make sure he arcs this corner, be able to get enough, and hope that Brandon Herzing overdrives it, which Brandon Herzing did not overdrive it. So he's got to make sure he drafts well enough through this portion of the track, getting down through the boot. Your
Daniel
next
Pino
opportunity
off the
to be
left
able.
corner.
We got someone.
No, I
Ooh.
was just gonna have AJ make the call here.
Yeah, Daniel Pino from flag to flag, from turn 1 of the first lap to the end of the race with the win. Otterman is looking good, but Brandon back to Herzing and Baxter.
We have a
There's
wreck.
the pass. Holy
Oh.
cow.
Oh,
Herzing, big incident. Oh, he
Yeah, just a
loses
little
it.
bit wide. He's trying to overdrive it. Just try to ensure he maintains that lead. Just does too much.
This is going to be fun because right next to each other, Jacob Cotterman, P1 to P1. The 48 McLaren with the win at Watkins Glen. And then right behind him, the 95 of Daniel Nass, able to get through turn 1 as well on lap 1 to take the lead and just dominate the whole night. Guys, this was an absolutely fun race this evening. Never seen Watkins Glen at night on any sort of sim. I kind of liked it.
I do too. It's unique. Made it more unique.
It's a great challenging track at night.
Now we just gotta wait for our drivers to interview. But let's start with this. Boys, Campigio, I'll start with you. You had to pick a driver for driver of the race. Who would it be?
Man, AJ, there's so many people to choose from. I would say Brandon Herzing before that last lap incident. I think he did a heck of a job, and he was in contention to get a top 2 finish there. That's who would be my driver of the day would be.
Brandon?
I'm torn. Daniel Knotts did a fantastic job in GT4 being up front the entire day, but Daniel Pino did the same thing. So for me, I'm between the two of them. Honestly, we're in wine country in the Finger Lakes that has the best wine in the world, in my opinion. I give it to Daniel Pino.
I was waiting for that one. And Joe Hutchings, what do you got?
I'm actually going to say Daniel Nance because very, very low incident count. And, he won GT3 or 4. I'm sorry. Oh, whew.
I'm kind of gonna jump on with Campigio, because even that incident that knocked him out of the podium in the Pro-Am, Brian Herzing comes back with a 4th place. He was still +6 overall and +4 in class. So a lot to still be proud of, even though you're probably going to be upset for the most part of where you could have finished. But let's see, who do we have here? Is that Daniel Pino? I don't think so.
That's a different name from what I'm seeing. Is it?
I don't know. I don't know who that is. Let's
You can
start
try
with,
Navis.
Yep, we'll grab Jacob Cotterman. Jacob Cotterman from flag to flag with the win here this evening. How was it out there, buddy?
Man, to be honest, it was very, very competitive out there, especially with my dad on my rear end for a few laps. He was starting to get a little aggressive behind me, but I just had to put the foot down and just, dust him.
I wasn't expecting that, but dude, you guys had a pretty good battle for the most part. Ty Baxter and Brandon Herzing were very much closing in on you late into the race this evening. Were you thinking they were going to get to you, or what was going through your mind as the laps were flicking away?
To be honest, I had to fuel save a lot. I was slowed down a lot, and I knew that they wouldn't catch up to me.
Well, brother, with everything that's gone by tonight, um, what are we expecting out of you? Trying to find the schedule real fast.
I think it's Hockenheimring next week.
Yes, it is. Thank you for that. What are we expecting you there? Because that's going to be a first for us on the channel.
I think I'll be top 5. I haven't had much practice there, but I just gotta practice and then see what happens, and then I'll follow people's lines until I get the track down. It
All right, bro.
doesn't take me very long to get the lines down and everything.
Yeah, we've noticed. We've noticed, Jacob. But before we
Yeah,
let you go, plug those beautiful sponsors if you got any, or anybody you'd like to thank.
I'd like to thank my dad for hosting this league. Even though that man is a hard worker every day, he still has time to come home and race, and I still have time to beat him, even though he practices a week before every single race, a week before, and I still beat him, and I don't practice at all. And sponsors, I'd like to thank SimCoach, Cotterman iRacing Team, and Beads by JC, my business.
All right, everybody. Just so you know, there were compliments and disses in that. They went hand in hand. It was a great interview by Jacob Cotterman. Dude, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, man. See you next week. Thank you.
All right, let's talk to the winner of the GT4s. Daniel Nass gets the lead after the incidents in turn 1 and never looks back. Great job, Daniel. How was it out there?
It was pretty good. A little loose. The track was pretty good though. It was fun to drive. Um, the competition was really good today. Too bad that we didn't have a battle this time. But still, I feel pretty good for 3 straight wins.
Yeah, so you got the turkey. What's 4 strikes in a row? When we go to
I don't know.
when we go to Hockenheim next week, are we looking at a 4-peat for Daniel Nass in the 95?
I don't know, maybe. Just depends on how everything works out.
All right, dude. Well, you kick some major butt tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if you kick major butt next week at Hockenheim. Before we let you go and celebrate the win in the GT4 class, any sponsors? Anybody you'd like to plug?
Not today.
All right, brother. Thank you for coming and talking with us. Congratulations on the win, and enjoy the rest of the night. And we'll hopefully talk to you next week.
Thanks.
And now, Brandon, I know you love talking to this guy. You pun his last name earlier, so I'll let you do the honors. You good with that?
I'm good with that.
All right, here's Daniel Pino, Brandon.
Daniel Pino, you got a copy on us?
Yes, sir.
All right. My question is, what wine tastes better, the wine in France or the wine in the Finger Lakes of New York?
What?
So the running joke is that Daniel Pino, your name, the word Pinot is part of a couple of different wines, and Finger Lakes are known for wine. But that being said, you did a fantastic job today in your race, which is why we joke about the idea that you celebrate with a glass of wine, that sort of thing. Walk us through though your race and what you were feeling throughout the race and how the race came to you today.
Well, in this race, I just sent the car. I mean, I told Avery that I will not think work. I will just go to the win, and that's I do. And I got a better restart. So I make the free wide instantly. I had the inside. I make a space, and then I just escape free. I have free air, so I just try. My idea is to escape to make a 7 seconds, 8, to Avery. So I will use that gap to save fuel. For example, there is some point of the race that he close to me 9 seconds, and then when I am getting fuel, I start to pushing again and putting back the 11 seconds. And that is the game, like playing with Avery.
Now, as you were maintaining the different gaps, trying to maintain your fuel strategy, did the transition from day to night, did that have any complications for you? Was that challenging?
I mean, it was shocking when you are driving super focus, and then all the lights in the car turn on. It's like, wow, oh, isn't it right? But no, I mean, I am a endurance driver in Hypon racing, so racing the nights, I have no problem. Like for me, my main is racing the night with rain. That's like my prime.
Absolutely. Racing at night, it's not necessarily as challenging, but when you get the rain involved, that definitely makes it more challenging. So I
Yeah.
agree with you there. Do you have any sponsors that you would like to plug and kind of give kudos to as you finish out this great race week?
Well, as always, David Dumont, that he made delivery for us on Hypon Racing. Uh, Carlos, that he do a great job in the league, in the server in general. Jet Coreman, that he managed all this GT challenge. Uh, and just that makes sense to my team.
Perfect. Well, and with that being said, great job this week again. And in the future, if you hear us make any comments about your last name and wine, Pinot Grigio and Pinot Noirs are my personal favorite. So if I'm in the booth, I'm going to make comments about you and wine. So just as a heads up, and great job this week, and kudos to you, sir.
Yeah, thanks, man. Chicken dinner.
Exactly.
I love that. Winner, winner, chicken dinner indeed. Daniel Pino, Jacob Cotterman, and Daniel Noss with the wins here this evening. We go to Hockenheim next week. That's gonna be a fun one. I haven't touched that track since Forza. Oh God, I couldn't even give you a number. But guys, it's been fun. Mike, final thoughts.
Well, AJ, I think it was a very, very excellent race. Really cool to see this track go from sunset to night. It was a very unique experience, and yeah, I haven't touched Hockenheim since my Forza days as well. So I'm looking forward to getting over there next week and seeing what it's all going to be about on the sim.
Joe, what do you got?
If it's not original Hockenheim, it's not Hockenheim. But that's just me.
Always the contrarian. I get it. I got it. Cool.
I have to. I have to.
And Brandon Storr with the final thoughts for tonight's race.
Hockenheim is my favorite track of all sports car racing. Road course racing doesn't matter. Don't throw out your notebook from Watkins Glen. You're going to need it.
Well, I wonder if the drivers stayed this long to hear you say that. But everybody,
We'll see. Find that DRS zone.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that like button, subscribe, follow. Tonight's broadcast was the High Point Racing League's GT Challenge, race number 7 from Watkins Glen. Overall win and pro win by Daniel Pino, pro-am by Jacob Cotterman and Daniel Noss in the GT4s. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Deuces.